Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. My name's Keena Corey, and I serve as Executive Director for the Florida Recycling Partnership. The partnership is a coalition of top businesses and associations dedicated to increasing Florida's recycling rates. Our mission is to educate policymakers and the general public on the benefits of recycling. I don't know if you know this, but Florida has a 75% recycling goal by 2020. Well, 60% of our waste stream comes from the commercial sector. So it's very important for businesses and associations to get together and encourage everybody else to recycle so we can reach that goal. Today we have a few of our members who are leading the way in recycling in their industry. They'll give you kind of a snapshot of what's going on. And the first person that we have up is Kim Brunson. Now, Kim is she's the solid waste and recycling manager for Publix. She's been working at Publix since she's been in high school. Now, that's a loyal employee. And she's also the chair of the Florida Recycling Partnership. So, Kim?
Thank you, Keena. You want to take that? Or do you got it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and all the members. I'm going to start by just talking about what we're doing with plastic bags. Since you know Publix is committed to customer service, we want to continue to provide choices for our customers by providing paper bags, plastic bags, or reusable bags. So you're going to do it for me? Mm-hmm. I'm going to start with a video called A Bag's Life. Oh, no, it's not that one. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so on this website, it's a video and it talks through a bag's life, all the different things, all the different stages. Besides just putting this together, we've been working with Florida Retail Association, Samantha, and we are educating across Florida, and 8 other states have actually picked up the use of this video and this website. I would encourage you guys to go look at www.abagslife.com. You'll be very surprised, maybe, or maybe you already have that education about all that we can do. The next video that I want to show you is a video that's an example of how we at Publix are partnering with many cities and counties. A lot of times, cities and counties can't take bags back because it actually hurts their recycling machinery at their centers. So here's one of the videos that is actually in Palm Beach County.
St. Lucie County Solid Waste. After your trip to the grocery store, please do your part and recycle your plastic shopping bags properly. Remember, do not place any plastic bags in your green single-stream recycling cart. To recycle plastic shopping bags, newspapers are delivered in clear plastic wrapping. Please take them to your neighborhood Publix and drop them in the recycling container. For more information, call 462-1768. And remember, it pays to recycle right.
So this video, along with, like I said, several other communities are trying to educate their residents on what to put in their curbside. Publix is a huge supporter of curbside recycling. We want to be in the grocery business, not necessarily. It does have a mind of its own. Okay. But whether it's plastic sleeves that your newspapers come in or your dry cleaning come in, all of that can go back to Publix, and we want to work with our cities and counties. The next thing I want to kind of talk about is maximizing our food waste. What we do at Publix, you can imagine if we wasted food, then we wouldn't be profitable. So we want to maximize any kind of waste, so we source separate. So that means that we're always focused on baking the bread that you need when you come in and not just having it hang around for the just in case, but trying to make sure that the items are there when you need it. The second thing we do is feed hungry people. And you can see that on this chart, we show that last year we donated 42.3 million pounds to the hungry. The next layer is feeding animals. So what we do is we have 50% of our stores are actually participating in a program where they come pick up our scraps from our stores, which goes into animal feed. And then the industrial uses, which is next on this EPA chart, that is where they pick up scraps from Publix and they either make energy, or it goes to a worm farm, or it actually goes to a rendering plant, or they reuse cooking oil. The next layer is composting, and you probably are much more aware of the composting that we have going on throughout the state. And then last is what we send to the landfill or to an incinerator. So Publix is at a 54% recycling rate. We want to continue growing our recycling program. As I mentioned, over half of our stores are participating in this program, but we need your help. We need the help to grow the industry so that more people can participate. And then this is just one quick slide that shows you from 2011 to 2014 just how we've grown in either like the composting, which is on the left side, the organics, or the food donations. We just continue to grow and invest in this, these efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, you're recognized, Karen.
Hi. The next person that we have to speak is Liz Castro. Now, Liz is the executive director of the Florida Beverage Association. She's going to tell you a little bit about their organization and some of the recycling efforts with beverage containers.
You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here today. As Keena said, I'm Liz Castro. I'm the executive director of the Florida Beverage Association, and we represent the non-alcoholic beverage industry here in Florida, and that includes bottlers, franchise companies, and support industries. Our companies here in Florida include Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Dr. Pepper Snapple, Nestle Water, Buffalo Rock, and Pepsi Refreshment Services. We bring a variety of products to the marketplace, some that you and your families probably enjoy on a daily basis, including 100% juice and juice drinks, ready-to-drink teas, sports drinks, bottled water, and soft drinks. I wanted to give you a little overview of our organization, then talk about some of our recycling efforts. So we currently provide about 13,000 direct jobs in the state of Florida with a direct economic impact of $7.8 billion. When you look at indirect jobs that our company provides, we have more than 51,000 workers in restaurants, grocery stores, convenience stores, movie theaters, and more that depend in part on beverage sales for their livelihoods. We also believe in giving back to our communities and have made contributions of $22 million across Florida. This graphic here actually is a good graphic on the comprehensive ecosystem that involves our manufacturing process. So you can see all the steps in the process to making the bottle and recycling. We're careful in our sourcing of raw materials. We support sustainable farming systems, and our packaging is produced with the lightest environmental footprint possible, utilizing as much recycled content material as possible. In our beverage production, we measure the energy and water use to manage our ratios so that the least amount of water and energy is used per liter of product produced. As we deliver our products to the market, we have trucks with fuel-efficient engines. We use alternative energy in those, and we've been working really hard on GPS routes as far as making sure that we're efficient in how we deliver. And we also want those bottles and cans back in recycling so that all of our systems are efficient and effective and every bottle and can have a new life. Packaging is a very important part of our products to our companies. As most of you know, that's the first thing the customer sees and holds. And so we want to make sure our products are made well as far as packaging and that they are recyclable. We work very hard to analyze packaging options and have narrowed package options to those designed to be recycled. Our primary packaging, as you may guess, is aluminum cans as well as PET bottles. And both of those options have been lightweighted so that the smallest amount of materials are used. All of our bottles are designed to be recycled, as are the caps on our bottles, which is a change from the past where you had to actually take your cap off the bottle. Now you can recycle the entire bottle. And we also support recycling in recycling containers to cities, towns, colleges, universities, parks, and beaches to make it convenient for recycling. We know that if the recycling containers are there, people are more likely to recycle. So working with communities to make sure they know that the products can be recycled and providing locations for them to do so. And then I'm just going to give you a few stats on recycling itself. In 2013, 33.2% of beverage containers sold by ABA members, which is American Beverage Association members, in the U.S. were recycled. Overall, 700,000 tons of PET beverage containers were collected and recycled in 2013. Aluminum can recycling occurred at a rate of 66.7%. However, we do recognize that some of our products aren't disposed of regularly or aren't recycled as they should be or properly disposed of, and we don't like seeing our products on the side of the road any more than y'all do. So we work with communities on a wide variety of consumer projects for recycling initiatives. In 2012, we partnered with Florida local governments in West Palm Beach to do a pilot project where we installed recycling bins at marinas and beaches and parks there to see how that improved recycling. And the rates were rather impressive. We found that beverage containers found in the waste stream decreased from 39% to 19%, and litter at these sites decreased at over 70%. So having access to recycling facilities and educating the constituents about what they should do and how easy it is to recycle, it's a big part of what we do, and we look forward to working with communities in the future.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions from the committee? None? Okay, thank you. Tina, you're recognized.
The International Bottled Water Association is also a member of ours, and since we're speaking of beverages, and let's talk a little bit about the adult beverage area, the Beer Industry of Florida is also a member, and they are always encouraging their consumers of the products to recycle their cans and bottles whenever possible. They recycle and reuse beer kegs as well. Our next speaker is Samantha Paget. You all know her. She serves as General Counsel for the Florida Retail Federation. Samantha oversees the Federation's Sustainability Council, and the Retail Federation was one of our founding members back in 2000. Samantha was just elected to our board in January. So next we have Samantha Paget.
You're recognized, Samantha.
Thank you, Ms. Kina. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The retail industry has been on the cutting edge of sustainable practice, and this is especially true in the area of recycling. You've heard about the wonderful things that Publix is doing. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you the efforts and successes of some of our other members. Since 2010, Target Corporation has diverted thousands of tons of recycled materials from landfills by recycling cans, glass, plastic bags and bottles, MP3 players, ink cartridges, and cell phones. Badcock Home Furnishings and more recycled almost 330,000 pounds of cardboard, plastic, and styrofoam in 2014 alone. The reduction of disposal fees and the revenue from recycling resulted in a value of almost $20,000 to the company. And this tells you the value proposition of recycling and sustainable practices to our companies here in Florida. In 2014, and the figures I'm about to share with you are solely in the state of Florida, Lowe's recycled almost 200 tons of plastics, over 10,000 tons of cardboard, over 13,000 tons in appliances, and 17,000 tons of wood pallets. Lowe's also participates in a program called Call to Recycle, which enables them to recycle batteries and cell phones. In 2014, it recycled almost 400 phones and over 59,000 pounds of batteries. Walmart has set a goal of zero waste, which means they're striving to send no waste from their stores to landfills, and they are making great strides in this area. Walmart diverts 81% of waste generated by its stores. In less than 6 years, Walmart has reduced plastic bag waste by 38%. That's a reduction of 10 billion bags annually, 10 billion bags annually since 2007. As Kim shared earlier, retail has been heavily engaged in the issue of plastic bag recycling. Retailers have embraced their role in recycling plastic bags and covers, and the recycling rates reflect this. A Bag's Life, the website she shared with you, helps consumers find the many retail locations near them where they can recycle. They simply enter in their zip code, and they can see all the retailers right around them that will take their plastic back for recycling. The retail industry is proud to be making a significant difference in the area of recycling and waste reduction. They are also establishing best practices that will allow companies of a smaller size to engage in this issue as well. We look forward to continuing to share our recycling successes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
We have a few other of our partnership members who are retailers, such as Bell's, Office Depot, Rooms To Go, and Wawa stores. John Zapata from Rooms To Go tells a great story of how he went to his CEO and said, we're throwing away a lot of things that could be recycled. Please let me put a recycling program within the stores. And he did. He was able to go into all their distribution centers, put a recycling center in there, and it was just a few years ago that he did that. The last 3 or 4 years, he's made the company $2 million a year. $2 billion a year on recycling and diversions. So it not only does it make sense for the environment, it makes sense for the company as well as their bottom line. Wawa stores are great. They're always trying to put recycling containers there on property, so that for convenience for the shoppers. Now, the next we have is Waste Management. Now, they're the world's largest recycler, and Dawn McCormick is the Director of Communications and Community Relations, and she serves as our Secretary-Treasurer for the partnership. Dawn?
You're
Thank
recognized, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. I want to tell you a little bit of background on waste management, and then we'll go into some of the things we're doing nationally and here in Florida. Waste management managed over 15 million tons of recycling material in 2014, including 2.5 million tons of traditional recyclables, but also 2.5 million tons of organics. And as Keena said, we are North America's largest residential recycler. As far as our facilities go, we have 120 recycling facilities nationwide, of which 50 are single-stream material recovery facilities, or MRFs as we call them, and we have 4 of those facilities in Florida. In terms of organics recycling that we've talked a little bit about today with my partners, 36 of our facilities are recycling organics, including 2 state-of-the-art facilities we have here in Florida in Okeechobee and Apopka. We take pre-consumer food waste from our partner here, Publix and Whole Foods and other retailers, and we turn that into compost, which is then used on our Florida farms. So the amount of material that we're actually processing for recycling has actually tripled since 2002. So the state of recycling is good, and that's great news, but there are some challenges that I want to talk to you a little bit about this afternoon. Last month, our CEO, David Steiner, appeared on Mad Money with Jim Cramer, and he reported that our recycling processing costs are going up. Contamination, or the non-recyclables that are in our loads, are also going up. And commodity prices, which is what our consumers are willing to pay for a bale of processed paper or plastic, is going down. And much of this material does go to China. So it's costing more to process a ton of recyclables and also dispose of the contamination, which can sometimes be as much as 15 or 20% of an incoming load. It's costing more to process than we're actually receiving in the commodity prices. That's not great news. And so our CEO has said to be sustainable over time, recycling operations must make economic sense. So to help ensure that we have a sustainable recycling processing, we are actually trying to get back to basics with our Recycle Often, Recycle Right campaign. It's a national education campaign, and we're rolling it out throughout Florida as well currently. The first message is, let's recycle often. Many good recyclables are still ending up in the garbage, so let's take our focus and get the easy stuff into our recycling bins. Recycle all plastic bottles, aluminum soda cans, and steel and tin food cans. Now, glass bottles still remain in our curbside recycling programs, but there are few end markets for recycled glass. So that's a challenge, and we're working on that with our customers. But all clean, dry paper is recyclable, including cardboard. So let's continue to recycle all we can at home, at school, and in the office. And let's recycle right. We want to keep the wrong things out of the recycling cart or bin. Plastic bags, as you've heard, are a problem. They can jam up our equipment. You want to take those back to your grocery store. Food is also a problem in the recycling bin. It ruins the clean and dry paper and the other recyclables, so we want your containers empty, and those are the messages we're sharing in schools and throughout our communities. And also food-soiled paper, like napkins and paper towels, those need to go in the garbage. So if we just keep plastic bags and food out, we'll have a huge impact on making recycling economically sustainable. Here's just one example of the challenges we face every day at our plants. Plastic bags and plastic film wrap, like dry cleaning bags, when they get into the plant, they wrap around our screens, and the materials themselves aren't separated properly. And about 6 or 8 times a day, our workers have to shut down the machinery, actually climb into the machines, and cut out that plastic. It's obviously dangerous, and it's costly to us. So we're trying to keep the messages simple, recycle more clean paper, plastic bottles, and cans, keep the material clean and dry, and keep your plastic bags out of your recycle bin. At the end of the day, we're all in this together. Our ongoing challenges, we require collaboration from our customers to the processor to the end markets and the regulators. We are committed to helping our city and county customers increase their recycling and meet the state's 75% recycling goal by 2020. And as we do so, we really do all need to work together to continue to make sustainable recycling a reality here in our state and in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keena. You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as you saw, the plastic film that was wrapped around that machinery, that's dry cleaning bags. That's the bags from the newspapers. Take those to Kim's Publix. They want that material because they use that and they make those little carts that you carry around when you've only got to buy 3 or 4 things. Those are made from recycled plastic bags. The pots that are underneath the plants, those are made from recycled bags. There's a lot of different things that are made from recycled bags, so they want them back. Now, Florida has seen the construction industry flourish over the past few years, and Southern Waste Systems, based in South Florida, is the largest construction and demolition debris recycler in the state. And we have Patty Hamilton here today. She's the Vice President of SWS, and she's going to talk a little bit more about her company and some of the great things that they're doing. So, Patty?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members. We are so happy to be here, and I'm going to wear 2 hats this afternoon, really. I represent 756 employees in Southeast Florida, and I'm really proud to tell you that in the 2011 legislative session, when we talked about recycling, there were only 350 employees. So construction and demolition recycling is flourishing in Southeast Florida, and we're really proud of the work. Our team has a goal of recycling for zero waste, and they do that at our facilities. We represent customers, service customers from Vero Beach to the Keys. We have 3 transfer stations. We recycle metal in a single stream recycling facility. We have a yard waste facility, and we actually have 4 mixed C&D facilities where everything is coming in onto a line and we're separating it. It's a single stream, they're all single stream facilities. I also am here as an executive committee member of the National Construction Demolition Recycling Association, which we're very involved in, and Mr. Kim Williams is here today too, who is the owner of Marpan here in Tallahassee, and Kim serves with me on that board also. And we have very good news about, if I can get this to move, top button, oh, picked up the wrong one, sorry about that. We have some good news. C&D, as one of the largest components of the recycling of the waste stream in Florida and really all over the country, we know, as we've said for many years, it's critical to achieving that 75% goal. And we are really happy to report to you that we're working very closely with Professor Tim Townsend at the University of Florida, and he has been contracted by the National CDRA to do a study. And there are tools available now that he can really quantify the benefits that are associated with the C&D recycling. Not only the economic benefits, but the job creation and the environmental benefits. And at the end of this month, at our conference in Nashville, Tim is going to be rolling that white paper out. In Florida, this is a 2013 numbers from the DEP, but you can see that C&D is a big part of it. Most of us are also recycling yard waste and other paper products and ferrous metals in that mix. So these numbers don't change much. Construction demolition material, I always say, is the easiest way to think about it is look around the building you're in. If you built it and it came down, that's what we're recycling, everything that's in these buildings. In addition to a lot of concrete. Recyclers are private companies like ours. We're a privately owned company. Kim is a privately owned company. Public companies, like my colleagues here from Waste Management, they also recycle C&D. And there are many municipalities that are recycling C&D. And on top of that, we have a lot of concrete recyclers and asphalt recyclers across the country and in the state of Florida. We have found in markets where this really works and it's very profitable, there are commodities that are highly desired by different people. The wood goes into cogen plants, the concrete is used to build roads and utility ditches, and we found a lot of unique uses for the concrete down in South Florida. The benefits are very clear, that they reduce landfill space, energy, natural resources. We are going to be providing, and we met this morning with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and as soon as the white paper is finished, we're going to be providing that information. And the C&D recyclers in the state of Florida commissioned a paper through Tim Townsend, and he is segregating out all of the Florida data. So for the first time, I think in a long time, we're going to really have some great, accurate data about what's happening in C&D recycling. It's really been in the last 15 to 20 years that they've really increased the efficient recycling of C&D. So there's some information we've given you here about what's being recycled, how much is being recycled. We're working closely with the EPA to look at those numbers, and the benefits. One of the things that we have always talked about is what happens in our facilities about the amount of material being recycled, and there's basically official numbers and unofficial numbers. Those unofficial numbers include the concrete, because concrete is not normally included in those numbers. So when you look at the concrete that can be recycled, concrete's being recycled at nearly 100%. So those numbers are all going to come out in this updated data. What we've given you today in the presentation for you to take a look at, these energy saving numbers, these are numbers that in energy savings that can be seen if you use recycled materials versus virgin materials. So all of this data by the end of this month will be provided in a more accurate form. The job creation is really vital for what goes on in C&D recycling and the economic benefits. So we've given you a little glance at what it's going to be. I know to tell you down in South Florida, we are annually processing over 4 million cubic yards of material, and in our larger facilities, we're recycling and claiming almost 90% of that material, and it's going back out into the economy. It's creating jobs, and C&D is a huge component of getting to that 75% goal. I'm just going to take a minute now and turn it over to Kim Williams to just give you a little glance at what's happening here in Tallahassee. And I appreciate your time. And if you have any questions or any interest in learning more about the C&D industry, either one of us can be of help to you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you. And I am Kim Williams, president of Marpan Supply and Recycling in Tallahassee. We opened our C&D recycling facility in May of 2008, and after the recession of the late fall of 2008, I was standing in the middle of my facility when my deceased father spoke clearly to me and says, "I told you not to borrow all that money." But we've learned a lot. What we found out in the recession was that material volumes were down, and as such, there weren't going to be other materials coming to us. So we looked at the material that was on the line for the increases in revenue. And today, I'm proud to tell you that we recycle 70 different commodities off of the construction and demolition recycling line. Some of the stuff that comes to us because we're a Class 3 rated facility, which is broader than just construction and demolition. It includes yard waste, and if you cleaned out your house or office, or even dry waste from a commercial operation. So we get things like automobile bumpers, which you wouldn't get in a C&D landfill or C&D recycling operation, and things like that. So that increases the number of items that we see. But last year we processed over 80,000 tons of material, which is 160 million pounds of material. Of that, we recovered over 105 million pounds of it. And we also opened in 2013 a single-stream recycling facility here in Tallahassee, so we have 2 plants. And we're real proud of that one. We're recycling about 1,600 tons a month from that, which extrapolates into something around 18,000 tons a year or 20,000 tons a year. And we've learned a lot about those markets and how to process that material. So we've got 88 employees in our operation now. We had 24 when we started, when we opened the C&D recycling facility in May of 2008. So we've added a lot through the recession and into this recovery, and have learned a lot about different markets for different materials. And if anybody had any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. That pretty much wraps up what I wanted to say.
I got a question.
Okay.
And it might not be to you, but it could be to the lady there. On processing concrete, at one time, DOT would not allow concrete as far as road base, because one thing, if you screen concrete or crush concrete, they start out saying, okay, everything had to be 4,000 PSI, 2,500 was no good. Then if you did screen it through a crusher and it was like the same specs as a DOT 911 lime rock, which is 3 inches, 3.5 inches down, it met every requirement except the carbonates, which are the little fishes that are in the Miami lime rock, which the rock lobbyists have. And you don't have it in concrete, even though it's made out of the same rock. Now, DOT says that your operation is one thing above a dump. How do you fight DOT on requirements when that rock gets harder than Miami lime rock? That rock handles water in Florida better than Miami lime rock. And so how do you fight off DOT?
I don't know that we fight them so much as, come on up and help. No, that's all right.
Okay.
We both have this.
We
this-
actually had this very same conversation this morning with DEP. We're actually starting to try to work with them. And to go in and talk with them and about those regulations and the different mindset. I think sometimes the mindset changes based on the folks and how they're looking at it. But we have a lot of testing. I think that in our case, Kim doesn't crush concrete, we do. And we have state-of-the-art, brand-new, just opened that facility, and the specs can be done in a variety of different ways. And we're going to start working directly with the FDOT on that very subject.
What amazes you, though, DOT will allow you to crush any type of asphalt, from the porous quality to granite quality, and screen it, put it back in a mix. So it's a double standard.
Yeah.
Now, where did you just open up your recycling plant, concrete recycling plant?
The recycling, the concrete facility is in West Palm Beach,
Now, do you get a tipping fee?
in some cases. Most of the time,
Hopefully.
hopefully,
Oh, I'm sure you
in that
do.
concrete facility, we mostly take clean concrete in for free.
Clean concrete, meaning no rebar, no wire mesh?
Correct.
Well, no, it'll have some
It'll
metal
have
in it.
some in it, but we
won't
take
have
it out.
other extraneous materials like asphalt.
Yeah.
Or other things that don't crush into a crusher to make the very product you're talking
And
about.
we pulverize the concrete and pull all of that out. It's very valuable. We had the operation in our mixed C&D facility, which is also in West Palm, just literally a block away. And there was such a demand for the processing of the concrete that we bought a new piece of property, built a new facility, and we have 10 more employees there.
Usually crushing concrete, you have a huge dust storm. So how do you handle the dust?
We have a.
Did you move out of town?
No, we're in an industrial area, but we also have a whole dust control program with misters on the outside of the properties. We water we have a watering truck. There's a whole process.
Do you sell your aggregate or your base rock or whatever you sell? When you sell it to the outside, do you sell it by the ton or by the yard?
We sell it by the ton.
So therefore you water it, which gives it more weight. Smart. Rinker does it. I mean,
I
it's
think,
okay.
and actually, I will correct myself. I think we sell it both ways. We do sell it by the yard and by the ton.
I think I got into the crushing business probably about 16 years ago in Brevard County, and I can't keep the stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't keep it. It's just it's really the best rock, and it's very good. The problem you have if you're trying to segregate it or screen it and get 1/2 inch or 3/4, you have a lot of fines sometimes.
Right.
But
We actually found, as a footnote into this, we found in the downturn of the construction cycle, when we were really looking for other ways to create markets, we partnered with a couple of competition arena builders. And we really now sell a lot of rock to those competition arena builders in the western part of Palm Beach County and the Wellington area, where they're building all these huge horse farms. The people who compete want their arenas to be the same as the ones they're competing on. So a lot of it goes there, and they're using a lot of recycled concrete out there.
thank you. It's very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, the clean concrete loads that we get, we take 5 different crushers in Tallahassee. There's no need for us to go into the crushing business since they already do it. When they run out of material at their facility, they come and recover from our pile of material that we separated the concrete going down the line from all the other materials. So that's how our pile moves.
If you can ever get a banker to loan you money to buy one of those machines, you can't put it in their parking lot. They don't want to repossess it. They want you to pay for it.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Well, keeping with our mission, the Florida Recycling Partnership has distributed several newsletters. We've done some op-ed pieces, and we actually held our first Florida Recycling Summit last November in Tampa. We had speakers that included representatives from Publix, Rooms to Go, American Beverage Association, DEP, the Daytona International Speedway, Amalie Arena. I finally learned how to say Amalie. I always screwed that up. Amalie Arena and Trademark Metal Recyclers. The event was so successful that the board has challenged me to create 3 more of those in this coming year. So if we have one coming to your community, I'll be calling on you and saying we hope that you'll come and help us promote it to your constituents. We also had our second annual Florida Recycles Day in the Capitol, and this is a time where our members and other organizations, many of them nonprofit, came to the Capitol. We were on the first floor on Organizational Session Day and set up displays to show what they're doing in the recycling world. We also work with Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and they give out these Recycling Recognition Awards. And they did it the first year where, at that time, Secretary Herschel Vineyard gave one to FSU. This year, Director Jorge Caspary was there and gave it to 3 different companies that were local, gave them the award. So we're really excited about working with DEP and on their Recycling Recognition Award. Matter of fact, we have 2 members that have received that distinguished award, Miami Marlins and Rooms to Go. Well, this presentation probably seemed like the lightning round of recycling, but we're proud of all of our members and their recycling efforts. And if we had more time, we could tell you about Florida Ports Council and the economic impact that exporting whoops, wouldn't you know I put that out? Exporting recycled material has to them. Or how the Miami Marlins, they have, instead of 7th inning stretch, well, they do that too, but they also have pass your recyclables down and remind everybody to do the recycling. The Marlins Stadium, by the way, is one of the top notch in the country by using recycled materials. They use some of the materials from the old Orange Bowl that they tore down to build the new facility. Cemex is also a new member, and they're doing a great job with aggregate recycling. Florida Press Association, another new member, encourages recycling of newspapers and have changed those plastic sleeves that, you know, when you get your home delivery when it's raining, they have those so that now there's more post-consumer recycled materials in them. Again, take those back to Kim's place, to Publix, so that she can use them to make new materials. Southern Waste Information Exchange has a website that helps connect people with recycled materials to the manufacturers that need those materials to make new products, which is wonderful. And we can't forget about the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. They do a great green lodging program that encourages hotels and restaurants to recycle. So, Mr. Chairman, members, thank you so much for this opportunity to tell you about the Florida Recycling Partnership and what our members are doing. As you can see, they really do believe in those simple to reduce, reuse, and recycle whenever possible. And we look forward to reaching that 75% recycling rate by 2020.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Any questions, Keenan? Any questions? Thank you so much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Now we're going to have a presentation from Brandon McKee. Oh, I'm sorry, we have some, no, Brandon McKee, President of the Florida Future Farmers of America.